Today's lesson is 4.1, describing the center of a data set. All right, so we're going to talk about two different situations. One where we have categorical data, and the other one is when we have numerical data. So when we have categorical data, for example, this first one, it says that suppose that each person in a sample of 15 cell phone users is asked if he or she is satisfied with their cell phone service. All right, so we have these responses, and it says find the sample proportion of the people who answered yes. All right, so that would be the center of our data for this categorical variable. So you would just calculate the number of successes, so how many yeses, which would be 9, and divided by the total number of people, which is 15. All right, so that gives you a proportion of 0.6 or 60%. All right, so something that I want you guys to note is actually the notation here. So in AP Stats, the notation is actually very important. So notice that we have this p hat. So the p hat just means the sample proportion. The sample proportion. All right, let's try another example down here. So this one is if we have a numerical variable instead of a categorical. All right, so suppose we want to know the mean length of all fish in Lake Louisville. So our population parameter, all right here, is typically a fixed value about the population, okay, and typically also unknown. All right, so remember population parameter. So what we do, since we don't know the population parameter, which is the actual mean length of all the fish in Lake Louisville, is we use a sample statistic. Okay, so that's the value calculated from a sample. Okay, so what we can do to estimate the mean number of all the fish, or excuse me, the mean length of all the fish, is we can use some measures of central tendency. All right, and there's two that we really want to focus in on today. The first one is the median, and the second one is the mean. All right, so if you guys remember, the median just means the middle. Okay, so how you would find the median is you would list all the observations in numerical order, so from least to greatest, and then you find the middle value. So if there is a single middle value, then that would be the median. So if you have an odd number of numbers, you would find an actual middle. But if you have an even number, you're going to get two middle values. So what you want to do is you want to average those two middle values if your sample size is even. All right, and the mean is just your mean, and you guys know how to find the average, so pretty simple. And the notation here is this mu. Let me draw it bigger here. So that's mu. So that's going to mean the population mean. Okay, population mean. If you're talking about a sample mean, we use this x bar. All right, and this x bar you guys have seen on your calculators before. So that is your sample mean. Okay, so I have this kind of key here, so you guys can try to keep all that notation straight. Remember, in AP Stats, it is really important. So on the exam, if you use incorrect notation, they actually will dock you for that. So make sure you do have correct notation and know which one is for samples and which one is for populations. All right. And just a quick correction on here. I don't know if your notes has this okay, but this right here should just be a summation sign for the formula for mean. So that just means add up all your x's and then divide by the total number of items you have. And that's how you find the mean. All right. Continuing. So here, suppose, going back to Lake Louisville, suppose we caught a sample of 6 fish from the lake, and we want to calculate the mean and median. Okay? All right, so go ahead and let's calculate the mean and median. So I'm going to find the median. It's already listed in order, so that's pretty easy for me to see that. These two guys, oops. these two guys are going to be the center, so I'm going to take the average of that. So the median is going to be 5.5. All right, and then finding the average of these two values, you would add them all up and then divide by 6. So I'm going to add this up. I get 36. Okay, and then I'm going to divide that by the 6 fish, so I get a mean of 6. Okay, so I have a median of 5.5 and a mean of 6. Now, if let's say we decide to change the 10 to a 15, so let's pretend that instead of the largest fish being a 10, it actually was a lot longer, and it was actually 15. All right, now we want to calculate the new mean and median for this. Now, if you notice, the median stays exactly the same. All right, your 5 and 6 are still in the middle, so just because that largest fish got bigger, the median actually stayed the same. All right, but when you calculate the mean does get affected by that larger value, and the mean now is 6.833. All right, and you guys can probably tell that the reason for that is because when we do the mean, we actually take into account the value, the length of each fish. All right, so let's try that again, and this time, let's say the fish got even bigger. And now, instead of 15, it is 20 inches long. All right, so now if I calculate the median once again, my median stays exactly the same. But when I calculate the mean and add that all up, divide by 6, I get 7.667. Okay, so what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the median is not affected by extreme values, all right? And by extreme values, it means like the largest values, the lowest values. It's not really affected about how large the largest value is or how small the smallest value is, all right? It doesn't actually take into account the values. But the mean definitely is affected by those extreme values. Okay. All right, so that's an important concept that we want to note, that the median is not affected by those extreme values, but the mean is. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's have a look at these other samples here. All right, so for this one, suppose we caught a sample of 20 fish with the following lengths. Create a histogram for the lengths of fish and use a class width of 1. All right, so I wanted you guys to actually be able to calculate this on your graphing calculators, but since I'm not here, I'll go ahead and show that to you later on. Somebody please remind me. All right, so I did this already, so I'll go ahead and just tell you what I got when I calculated these. So the mean for this group was 6.5. And the median, sorry, my handwriting is bad on this, is also 6.5. And the main thing I wanted you guys to get from this was if you were to create a histogram, what would happen is this is a very symmetric histogram. And when you get a symmetric histogram, what happens is the mean and the median both end up being in the center together. All right, so the mean and median end up equaling each other. All right, now for this next example, if I were to create a histogram, it would end up looking something like this. So I think there's like a bar here, bar here, bar here, and it went down like this. Okay, so it ends up looking like that. All right, so that is definitely not symmetric, okay? So in fact, this is considered skewed right. And what happened here is the mean was 6.8, but the median ended up being 5.5. All right, so the median ended up being around here, and the mean ended up being right around here. So the skewness actually pulled the mean towards it because these extreme values, like we saw from before, affected the mean. So that's why the mean deviated towards those extreme values and went larger compared to the median. Okay, and let's see if we can get that with this last one here. So suppose we caught another sample, 20 fish, and in this case, this one was actually skewed to the left. So this one ended up looking more like that. Okay, so skewed left. All right, and if we were to calculate the mean and median, the mean for this one ended up being 7.75. The median was 8.5. All right, so the median ended up being around here, and then the mean ended up being around here. All right, so the median was 8.5, the mean was 7.75. So we can see that the mean got influenced by those low extreme values. So we see low extreme values down here, and then the mean got pulled towards those extreme values, which is why the mean is less than the median in this case. Okay? So to kind of summarize, in symmetrical distributions, the mean and median are going to be equal, okay, when it's symmetric. But in skewed distributions, the mean is going to be pulled in the direction of the skew, meaning that if it's skewed left, the mean will get pulled towards the left, going lower, and if it's skewed right, the mean is going to be pulled toward those higher numbers, so it'll go larger. Okay. And when you guys have a symmetrical distribution, when it's asking you to report a measure of center, you have two choices. You have the mean or the median to give. So in a symmetrical distribution, I always want you guys to tell me what the mean is. All right. So in a symmetrical distribution, the mean and the median are equal. All right, but people understand mean better. That's something that we use in everyday language. All right, but in a skewed distribution, the mean, it's very sensitive towards those extreme values. So we don't want to give the mean. It gives kind of an incorrect, I guess, perception of where the center of the data is. So in a skewed distribution, you want to report the median instead. Okay, so again, this is anytime you are asked to describe the center. This is how you want to go about doing that. All right, that is lesson 4.1.